I believe you should see my screen here. So again, hello and welcome to our second webinar of our 30-minute webinar series. Today's topic is on-demand portfolio performance reporting, leveraging technology to generate narrative-based insights on portfolio and fund performance. Over the next 30 minutes, I'll introduce my colleague who will discuss that in further detail. A note before we get started, please feel free to drop any questions and comments in the Q&A box. As we only have 30 minutes, we won't have time to go over them during today's webinar, but we will respond directly to your questions via an email response. So first, my name is Joyce Chu. I'm part of the Wealth Tech team and leading our sales structuring efforts at InvestSuite. And for the first 5 minutes or so, I'll highlight a few key points on InvestSuite. I'm also joined by Mathieu Debatz, product manager at InvestSuite. He'll go over how transforming investment reporting can provide a competitive edge, and also explain how InvestSuite Storyteller works, and then finish off with how it can be used in practice in the current industry. So first on InvestSuite, as you can see here, we're a global B2B wealth tech and invest tech provider, offering solutions in the front to middleware space. We are InvestSuite, and we aim to be the Pixar of wealth management. Like Pixar, we deliver creative experiences underpinned by the newest technology. What we've done is we've successfully combined a broad range of internal skill sets across banking, creative design, behavioral science, engineering, and mathematics to bring this combination of technology and creativity in a human-centric way. While we are only B2B, our solutions keep the end investor, your clients, at the forefront of the investing experience. So really a B2B and 2C proposition. As technology continues to change, we foresee that the future of investing will be highly digital, AI supported, hyper-personalized to the individual investor's preferences and their goals, and most importantly, purposeful. In essence, how we do this is we help financial institutions of all types, banks, wealth managers, private banks, asset managers, brokers, pension funds, and more, realize their digital transformation journeys, democratize wealth management, and ultimately create the most delightful investing experiences for their customers. Combining our vision and our purpose, this is exactly what we do. We build highly scalable and AI-supported invest tech solutions for these institutions so that they can serve their clients with best-in-class, cost-efficient, and profitable products. We do this with a suite of solutions, as our name states, which I'll quickly highlight. Self-Investor on the left here is a best-in-class, powerful, white-label execution-only platform for easy investing. Our goal here is to bring self-directed investments to a broad audience, from new to active investors, to essentially help them build their investment confidence and also bring to them investment education. Second, our robo-advisor is a low-cost, customizable digital wealth management tool that can deliver hyper-personalized portfolios to retail investors for goal-based investing. The third product, Storyteller, is our topic for today, so I'll leave that to Mathieu. And lastly, Portfolio Optimizer. It's a combination of next-generation quantitative tools that provide both cost-effective and efficient portfolio management for asset owners. It can also be the portfolio management tool that's combined with the robo-advisor, and that's how we're able to offer the hyper-personalized portfolios, as I mentioned. If you'd like to learn more about any of these other solutions, please connect with me, and for today, we'll dive right into Storyteller. So without further ado, I leave the floor to Mathieu Debatz, product manager of the Storyteller.
Thank you for the introduction, Joyce, and also a very warm welcome from my side. I'll try to share my keynote presentation, and let's hope this works. So normally that should be fine now. To kickstart things immediately, by the end of this webinar, your two main takeaways will be, on the one hand, the fact that investment reporting experience of wealth clients is a very important piece of the puzzle for financial institutions to win in the future. And on the other hand, how the combination of storyteller technology or storytelling technology with state-of-the-art technology can be used in order to offer wealth clients a more valuable investment reporting experience. Now, I joined InvestSuite 2.5 years ago, and I have to admit that it has been a very, very fascinating journey so far. Along the way, I've had the opportunity to meet and talk to a lot of interesting people around the world, and irrespective of which type of financial institution they are working for, may it be an asset manager, a retail bank, or a wealth manager, when we start talking about how the future for their businesses will look like, one of the crucial elements that always pops up is digitizing the customer experience. Now, within that digitalization of the customer journey of wealth clients, investment reporting, and this is a very unfortunate finding, is, as of today, an often ignored touch point in that customer journey of the wealth clients. We at InvestSuite believe that should change. More concretely, we believe that doing investment reporting in the right way can gain you a competitive edge as a financial institution. To back my reasoning, I have a 2020 Boston Consulting Group study with me, and although it is specifically focused on asset management, the conclusions hold across different kinds of financial institutions. According to this study, an asset manager can win and retain client business in any of three primary ways. One, offering a competitive edge or advantage through performance, which means delivering better results. Two, offering a competitive edge through cost, which means delivering the same results for less. And three, offering a competitive edge through client experience, which means delivering more total value. Now, historically, the first two, performance-based and cost-based business models, have dominated the industry. And we believe that both will, of course, continue to be relevant in the future. However, they have natural limitations. In particular, relatively few asset managers have managed to deliver sustained outperformance, and costs can, of course, go down only as far as zero. So we share BCG's belief that the next wave of competition will be based on creating a more comprehensive value proposition for the client. Before diving into how our Storyteller solution can contribute to such a more comprehensive client value proposition, let us first take a step back. I invite all of you to think for a couple of seconds about the following. What are the first words that come to mind when thinking about how customers receive information about their investments as of today? Well, as a B2B company with a clear focus on the end customer, we have done a lot of research on various topics. And one of these research topics centered around investment reporting. The conclusion of this research, an overload in terms of data and information, generic reports sent to all clients, creating a non-personalized experience, spreadsheet type of reports, as you can see on this slide, creating a non-appealing experience, and moreover, and definitely the case, a non-digital experience. But in fact, we cannot really talk about an experience, as 90% of the people receiving these kind of reports indicated that they didn't even consider spending 5 seconds of their time to read these kind of reports. In other words, the following quote from Thomas Stearns Eliot, one of the 20th century's major poets, greatly summarizes these research findings. Where is the knowledge we have lost in information? Where is the wisdom we have lost in knowledge? Now, humans are naturally wired for stories. The facts and data present in the current investment reports that I've shown on my previous slides only activate the left side of our brain. And this side is the hemisphere known as the center of language and analysis. The right side of the brain, responsible for creativity and intuition, will not assist in big picture thinking and connecting the dots if it is left unstimulated. And stories are the perfect method to engage both sides of the brain, causing increased neural activity, helping us making connections, resulting in the creation of knowledge and wisdom. And that is exactly what we want to achieve. So imagine that you could apply these principles and actually create a meaningful, insightful, engaging story that explains the how and the why of investment performance in a highly personalized manner, and thereby promotes knowledge and wisdom with your clients. Wouldn't that be great? Now, Storyteller is able to do exactly that, and in a fully automatic manner. The narrative-based reports Storyteller is able to generate are hyper-personalized and tailored to an individual customer's investments. On top of that, variables such as risk profiles and levels of financial literacy can also be taken into account to further tailor the story to the way customers think about their investments. Moreover, as you can see on this slide, consuming content in a digital manner is an important trend that cannot be ignored. So besides very appealing PDF reports, as I will show some examples later in this webinar, Storyteller is able to also generate mobile and web responsive reports, even in the form of a video, as again, I will show later in this webinar. Now, as a modular solution, Storyteller can be used in many different use cases. Before going into detail on this, let me take a step back and make it a bit more concrete with a live demo of our solution. So what you can see on this slide is the flow that represents the end-to-end process to generate a Storyteller report. So from minimal input data requirements, we can create in a fully automatic way a designed report that again tells a story on the how and the why of individual investment performance. And these reports can even be embedded in your native banking applications so that your clients can have access to it. Now, although Storyteller is an API native solution, we have a demo environment to which we can upload an Excel file and thereby mimic the input data that Storyteller would normally receive by API input. Let me switch to this demo environment for a second to visualize that. I'll stop sharing and share a different screen. Here we go. So normally you should be able to see an Excel file if all goes right. And what you can see here is that I will create a portfolio report on a portfolio of Margot, mockup customer. We'll generate a report in English, and the report will cover a period for Q3 2021. In terms of input data requirements, we have holdings and transactions at minimum. So if you want to generate a report on Q3 2021, Storyteller needs to know what was in the portfolio at the start of the quarter in terms of holdings, so which instruments, and what has happened to that portfolio in terms of transactions, so buys, sells, deposit withdrawals, dividends received, costs paid, etc., etc. So this is the minimum input data required for Storyteller to generate a report. Now I can upload this Excel file to our demo environment, which is what you're seeing here. I will proceed with the default file as the file I've just shown is the default file. And I'll switch back to the presentation, just a second. Keynote, here we go. So what is happening in the background, now that I've uploaded the Excel file, is that Storyteller has received input data, holdings and transactions in this case, to create a portfolio for Q3 2021. Once input data is received, Storyteller will connect to its financial data engine to retrieve financial data on the instruments in the portfolio. We can support a broad range of different instrument types and can also look through mutual funds, for example, to take into account within fund transactions, to take into account the price movements of all underlying constituents. And our financial data providers currently are Refinitiv and Morningstar, but we could also integrate with a data provider of your choice. In the meantime, I can see that the report has been generated now on the fly, but I will just continue my explanation on the process and then switch back to the generated report. Now, with the financial data Storyteller receives from its financial data providers, Storyteller can calculate insights on return, insights on portfolio allocation, on performance attribution, on ESG performance, also on retrieving news articles that can connect the dots between events that had impacted the portfolio and events that have happened in the world. And these insights are actually calculated as data variables. And these data variables are used by the next step in the process, the story generation engine, which means that we do not use AI to generate text automatically, but apply a proprietary built, rules-based text template system. I'm very happy to elaborate on this approach in a separate call, but in essence, text generated via our setup is fully predictable and can be customized to any language, compliance, and or tone of voice requirements, thereby having significant advantage over an AI-based text generation approach. Now, once the story is generated, it is rendered as a designed report. And again, we can generate a report in a PDF format, in a web or mobile responsive format, or even in a video, as I will show later. And this is what has happened now. So I will switch back to the screen where the report has been generated. Just a second. So here we go. So you can see your report is ready and can now be shared. And the report is available as a web responsive version and as a PDF file, and is created according to a white label tenant configuration. This is important to mention because Storyteller, as a white label B2B solution, is highly configurable in terms of design and look and feel, in terms of the type of insights included in the report, and in terms of the language and tone of voice used within that report. So what I will show here is just meant to give you a flavor of what Storyteller could look like and what could be included in terms of insights and content. We of course have a lot more to offer within Storyteller, but 30 minutes is quite short to go over all of that in detail. So I will scroll quickly through it so that you get an idea of what Storyteller is about, and then I will switch to the next topic in the webinar, which is the video. So I can click on View Online, and this could also be integrated in your native banking applications where clients see an overview of their personalized investment reports generated for their specific portfolio. They click on View the Report Online, and something like this would open. Of course, it could look very different, as again, this is configured according to a fictive bank, Capital Bank, which is non-existing, and we applied a white label design and look and feel for this report. What you can also see throughout this report is that there is a link to a gardening theme. So the pictures in that report will have a link to that gardening theme, and also the text on the cover page will also have a link to that theme. It's important to mention that, again, a lot of configuration possibilities. So whether you want to use pictures, whether these pictures need to be linked to a specific theme, or whether you want to use illustrations, everything is possible. But in essence, you can see we created a Storyteller report for the portfolio of Margot for Q3 2021. Scrolling through the report, you can again see that we try to, or with Storyteller, we can, in a very human, understandable manner, explain the how and the why of individual investment performance, which is what you can see here. I'll just scroll through it again so that you can get a flavor of it. And you can see you benefited from a strong financial services sector, but the negative momentum on the emerging market posed some challenges. So everything that you see here is generated in a fully automatic manner based on that minimal input data that I showed you before, and everything happened on the fly. Just scrolling further in the report, you can see your portfolio is mainly invested in bond funds, but from an asset class point of view, your portfolio is mainly invested in equity. If we try to look at asset class performance attribution, and again, the levels of detail can vary, of course, as well, and how it is all presented can vary from report to report. But you can see here, the equity asset class is the major contributor for your total return during Q3 2021. So a very personal P&L based approach to explain performance. I could dive deeper into it and get a very detailed explanation on which different factors contributed to my individual portfolio performance during Q3. So you could see a decline in global stock market to curb success, but an astonishing contribution driven by the financial services sector was actually a very positive element. Again, just scrolling through it so that I get a bit of a feel of what could be included in the Storyteller report. Again, just meant to give you a flavor. And important to mention is that we do not only cover financial insights, but can also include insights on ESG performance, which is what you can see here. And again, just an example of what it could look like. And we have a lot more to offer, definitely when it comes to ESG performance reporting. Now I will stop sharing, as the next bit that I want to demo is a video, and I would like to use Zoom's functionality to optimize for video clips. So that is what I will do here. And what I will actually show now is a video concept that is the result of a project we did with a large Swiss and Hong Kong-based private bank, and is again just an example of what we could do with video. I will let you enjoy it first. It takes about 5.5 minutes, and then I will provide some more background information on that video. I will press play, but please, Joyce, interrupt me if anything is going wrong with the video.
Hello, and welcome to your personal investment portfolio review. My name is Emma, and I'll be taking you through the last 6 months of your portfolio. Together, we'll explore how it performed, both from a financial and sustainability point of view, and we'll present you our outlook for the next couple of months. So, let's get started. Looking back over the past 6 months, your investments did well overall. But before we review all of this in detail, let's start with an overview of the overall market conditions. Here to tell us more is our Head of Research and Strategy, Thomas Smith. Thomas, enlighten us. What's been happening in the market over the past 6 months?
Thank you, Emma, and also a very warm welcome from my side. global equity markets already posted decent returns for the first half 2021, primarily driven by the following three factors. Number one, recovery in global earnings growth. Number two, vaccination progress. And number three, of course, monetary stimulus by the global central banks. Also in the first 3 to 6 months of this year, we had rising inflation expectation, which has put, especially in the US, upward pressure to long-term yields. So, back to you, Emma.
Let's dive into your personal investment portfolio. Allow me to introduce my digital assistant. Hi, Alex.
Hello, Emma.
Please show us what the year has brought so far in terms of performance.
Hello, Miss Brunner. Your portfolio did really well during the first 6 months of this year. With an astonishing return of $336,406. Your portfolio has really maintained its positive momentum.
This is fantastic news. Alex, can you also explain the main drivers behind the performance?
With pleasure. Your portfolio's exposure to equity instruments was the main driver of your positive result. Besides the overall strength of the global stock markets, exposure to North America fueled the positive performance of your portfolio. That's because this region outperformed the broader market in general. On the other hand, the slightly negative contribution that is coming from your fixed income portfolio can mainly be explained by the increase in government bond yields. This has a negative impact on the price of these instruments.
Is it also possible to show where the portfolio was invested?
Of course. With 68%, you are mostly invested in equity instruments. Within your equity portfolio, the European market and the technology sector are the most dominant factors. Compared to the MSCI World Index, your portfolio has a 5% overweight in Europe and a 2% underweight in the technology sector. Government bonds make up the largest part of your fixed income portfolio. And overall, your portfolio had the most exposure to the euro.
Thanks for your thorough explanation, Alex. Our aim, of course, is to help you achieve your financial goals. However, sustainability is an integral part of our thinking and acting. That is why we integrate environmental, social, and governance factors in our investment decisions, which means you are contributing to a better future for all of us. Over to you again, Alex.
On average, and per $1 million of revenue, the companies in your portfolio use 150 million liters less water than those in the benchmark. Those 150 million liters of water are equal to the yearly drinking needs of roughly 250,000 people. Considering the worldwide problem of increasing water scarcity, your portfolio is really making an impact.
Thank you for explaining the performance in more detail. And thank you as well. It's wonderful to see how your investments are helping to create a better future for all of us. Talking about the future, Thomas, what major trends do you see continuing or emerging over the next 6 months?
Thank you, Emma. For the second half of this year, we expect an ongoing reopening in the European economies after COVID-19. Global GDP should grow above its potential in the coming quarters. On the inflation side, in the short term, we expect ongoing upward pressure. With this kind of a setup, we still favor equities over fixed income. For the rest of the year, we identified 3 challenges. Challenges number 1, an overshoot in inflation expectation. Number 2, tapering of the global central banks. And last but not least, number 3, a potential COVID-19 mutation could slow down the reopening. So, back to you, Emma.
Thank you, Thomas. Well, we've come to the end of your investment update. Thank you so much for trusting us to manage your investments. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to your relationship manager who will be happy to help. We hope you have a wonderful day and look forward to sending you the next update in 6 months' time.
Okay, let me switch back to my keynote presentation. So this is an example of what we could do with video, this video will soon, so in 2 to 3 weeks, we're currently implementing it in our white label offering. We will be able to generate such a video in a fully automatic manner as well, in the same way we generated a report that I showed via our demo environment. Now, as you saw, the video has 3 different characters. So on the one hand, we have a physical host, we have a physical expert, and we had a text-to-speech engine-powered virtual assistant. Now, depending on the video concept chosen and developed, the characters can be introduced in different levels of scalability. Again, of course, happy to schedule calls with all of you to dive deeper in how we actually make this work in a scalable manner and how we can parameterize videos to your requirements. But in short, to include the physical hosts, we had to make a database of pre-recorded scenes where she, in this case, would say generic things about portfolio performance and connect the dots between the different scenes. To introduce the physical expert, we depend on input from our client to record such a scene on a periodic basis. In this case, it was on a 6-month basis. And the virtual assistant, who provides personal information and talks about real portfolio numbers, is the result of the text-to-speech engine and is the most scalable technology to use. Now, before we conclude the webinar, I would like to show you some practical examples of Storyteller use cases. And a wide variety of financial institutions can benefit from integrating Storyteller in their customer value proposition, maybe for internal use or to generate reports for their customers or for the customers of their customers. Storyteller can be parameterized to different target audiences. For example, Storyteller for single fund reports can explain the performance of single funds in a highly insightful and engaging manner. This story can be either a generic explanation on the performance of the fund, more in the form of a fund fact sheet, as we know it as of today, as you can see on the slide as well. But Storyteller for single fund reports can also take the form of a very personalized report, taking into account an individual customer's invested amount. We are currently integrating with a large Benelux-based asset manager, for example, who wants to provide their fund distributors with enhanced fund fact sheet reports, as you can see on the slide. And I'm just highlighting a couple of pages in that report. Again, the presentation will be available online after this webinar, so you can go through it at ease. Now, another example is Storyteller for discretionary customers, where the highly personalized, insightful, and engaging Storyteller reports aim to establish a feeling of trust and comfort at all times. Many different retail and private banks that we are working with around the world are interested in this use case, where they intend to push on a periodic basis, for example, quarterly, these type of personalized reports to their individual clients via their native mobile and web applications. Again, highlighting a couple of pages in this mock-up report, and you can see that it looks quite different from the fund report that I've shown on the previous slide. A last example and another differentiating target audience I would like to draw your attention to is Storyteller for pension customers. Here, in this case, the highly personalized, insightful, and engaging Storyteller reports aim to educate the customer on the importance of saving for retirement, and again, provide comfort at all times, definitely when things go down in your pension pot. In an interesting research that we did with a Danish pension fund, we found that 29.7% of the research participants indicated that they wanted to find out how they could raise their monthly contributions after receiving a Storyteller report, a remarkable finding from an activation point of view. Now, with that finding, and I'll show some more pages of that report here, but with that finding, I would like to thank you for your attention and give the word back to Joyce.
Many thanks, Mathieu. And so we are about a minute over, so to just wrap up in an extra last minute. Just to highlight today what we went over. We went over how investment reporting is a meaningful touch point that can truly contribute a more comprehensive value proposition if it's done differently, and that's what you saw today. As humans are naturally wired for stories, why not apply the same storytelling principles to something as frequent as reporting? By bringing an engaging story that explains the hows and the whys of investment performance in a personalized manner, thereby promoting investment knowledge and investment confidence. Mathieu also showed you the demo and examples of Storyteller in practice, really showing the level of insight and investor personalization that can actually be automatically generated at the touch of a button, leveraging our proprietary technology. And as Mathieu explained, there are a variety of use cases Storyteller can be applied to, which includes different insights, different language, and can use different concepts and via various engaging digital channels for delivery and more. So if you're interested in a more detailed discussion or demo of Storyteller, please reach out to us via our emails on the screen. Again, a big thank you to our speaker, Mathieu, and of course, to all of you for attending. We will connect with those who've dropped questions in the box, and please follow us on LinkedIn and visit our website for upcoming updates. Thank you again, and we hope to see you at our next webinar in the next coming months.
Thank you.
Many thanks.